Hello TarotTube, my name's Sarah and this is Coyote Tarot. Insert little musical intro that I don't know how to do here. So right now I am a little bit more comfortable with YouTube, so I wanted to do like a November roundup and musings kind of video. I am losing my light, so I don't have my light hooked up to my camera. I prefer to film without it. Fingers crossed we get through it. It did just start snowing, so it's just going to get darker from here, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I just wanted to do like a little chitty chat and see what I purchased this month as far as like decks or any crystals or anything metaphysical related, and what I've been working with this month, and just kind of roll with it, see how it goes. I have some rough notes. We'll see how much I stick to them. I don't want this one to be too long because, again, like I said, we're losing the light, but you should see the stack of things I have to show you. So wish me luck. All right, let's start with new decks that I purchased in November. November was a bad girl month for me with decks because I did buy a lot. We'll start with the first one. So I have the original version, not the indie version, but the mass market in the big size is what I mean by original. But I did pre-order the Wild Unknown Pocket Tarot. It's my only tarot in a tin. And what I really liked about it was that it still comes with a guidebook. Now the guidebook, in my opinion, the writing is so tiny. They could have made this bigger. Where are we here? They absolutely could have made that writing bigger. I don't know why they didn't, but that's my only pet peeve about the book. Here I am excited. Look, there's a pocket deck that came with a book, and now I'm bashing the book. But that was just, when I opened it and saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's tiny. And there's like half the page available for them to have printed on, so I guess there's some that's larger, but I don't know. That's my only thing. So for those of you who haven't seen any walkthroughs or anything, I'll just show you the size. And my hands, I think, are pretty average. I don't think they're tiny hands. It's not going to help you. But yeah, it's not bad. It's definitely bigger than the Everyday Witch Mini, which I have, which is I find really tiny. I like this size. I like this size for shuffling and still being able to visually see the cards without kind of having to lean in and squint. So yeah, it's just your regular. The only thing that was different is the Judgment. No. Justice. I think it's the Justice card. Oh, it's right here. Yeah, it's the Justice card. So this is the only thing that's different from the original. It's just more color was added to it, and that little globe in the middle was added. The original doesn't have that. Other than that, the deck is the exact same, so we're not going to do a walkthrough. I'm probably not going to walk through any deck because you can find them everywhere. So that's the Wild Unknown Pocket. That was the first one that came into my collection in the month of November. Then, where'd it go? We've got a runner. Found it. It's the Friends Tarot. I talked about this in my last video. Now this one, full disclosure, I was kind of worried that I purchased a fake copy of it because it's in this tuck box and the original is not in a tuck box. But I got a gift set version of it, which came in a bigger box with a fan book with it. It's up there. I will knock down everything trying to get it down. The publishing company's name is on it, which I know doesn't mean anything. The publishing company's name is on the book. The Chantal D'Souza's name is on both of them. So I kind of felt okay purchasing it. I'm still not entirely sure if it's fake or not. I purchased it from Urban Outfitters in the States, online, obviously. So I really hope that this is not a bootlegged version. But if you look at the box, I mean, it's kind of, it's not looking good for me. But the bigger box that it came in, I wish I grabbed it to show you, looks legit. Like, it doesn't look fake. So fingers crossed that this is not a fake deck, because I will feel really bad. Like, that's just asking for bad karma. But this deck, what do we got going on here? So I love the backs, and I should probably grab a different chunk than what I've shown in my previous videos, because that's more fun. It's just a cute, cute, cute deck. If you're a Friends fan. Now the knights are all different characters. The knights are not the main characters. So Janice is, for example, one of the knights. And I read tarot for my friends just for funsies, and this deck got the best response out of any deck I have ever used with them. So this is just a fun, quirky little deck, and it was something that I just like had to have. And I love that I got the book with it. Let's fingers crossed it's legit, because it's also super cute, and it has really funny quotes from the show and really funny moments. Oh, so that's the Queen of Pentacles, and that was Charlie. So there's definitely different characters in it, but for the most part, it is the main characters. And of course, Paul Rudd is in it as well, which is what I said in my last video is one of the things I personally love about this deck, is that I have a deck with Paul Rudd in it. So that's the Friends Tarot. The other new one that I purchased, and again, I did talk about this one in my last video, is the Golden Art Nouveau. I always show this side when this side is the better one. This one I purchased because of my relationship with the regular Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. I don't love it. It's not my favorite. I don't love the harsh colors. I don't love the thick lines that seem to blur into everything. So this one is just kind of like a little bit of elegance to the regular Rider-Waite-Smith. I have all kinds of lights going on, like my TV is on, which is a blue light. I've got my salt lamp on, so I'm pretty sure it's all reflecting off of here. But this one is just easier for me to look at, and I just would so much rather use this. That being said, my regular old plaid back definitely has a place in my heart. I don't want to be mean to it. And I will probably never get rid of it, although it didn't make my top 10 list, so that's a hypocritical thing for me to say. It's easier for me to say that now because I've been working with the deck a little bit, because I've been taking another tarot course this week. So now I'm kind of like, oh, my plaid back, I love you. But yeah, I just don't love it. It's not, the art I just wish was better. Anywho, so that's the other deck I purchased. The last deck I purchased in the month of November, and again, this had the same reasoning as the last one, is the Reflective Tarot. So this is all iridescent-y, fun, and I like that it's a smaller size. Comes with a little book. The little book doesn't have, oh, it does have reversed meanings. It's the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot that doesn't have reversed meanings. So just a little white book, pretty typical. The backs, to me, I don't mind the backs. It's just, I don't find that they match the card. Like, it's kind of weird. So here's the backs. They're not reflective at all. But then you get to the actual cards, and beauty. So this is featuring the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith. So I like the Radiant better because the coloring is better, people's faces are better. Like, you can actually see their facial expressions, and it's not like the lines aren't all over the place. But it's just a fun, different version of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And I like that it's a bit smaller. So now being in the box does make it a little bit on the chunky side. Like if we toss everything back in here, it wouldn't be one that I would love to toss in my purse because it still is in a hefty little box. But it's better than some of the other ones. And again, the reason for purchasing it was because I did want a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, but I didn't want it to be the plaid back version. So those are the decks that I purchased. Now we'll go on to the decks I've been working with. So the Yule, Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle, this has been really popular on YouTube the last few weeks. This I pre-ordered, so I received it in October, I believe. This deck has been phenomenal. So, and it has green gilding on the sides. Love it. The backs are super festive looking. Me personally, now this, it does have a gloss, so it is probably gonna reflect some light here. But when I've worked with this deck so far, I have found it to be, I've worked with tarot with it. And when I worked with it with tarot, the messages were extremely supportive to what the tarot card was. And then I've also worked with it on its own, like just pulling one card every other day or every third day. And those messages have just been, for me, more about the season, not necessarily about like what's going to happen in my coming day, but just trying to get myself in the Christmas spirit, in the Yule season frame of mind. So there's tons of walkthroughs. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time, but there's a lot of walkthroughs. And the crystal that I've chosen to live on that is this tourmalated quartz piece. Don't know why, just felt called to put this piece of quartz on that deck. So that's not a new crystal, it's just he hasn't had a purpose until then. What else? So I did actually start working with the light seers in the beginning of the month. And I started working with it because I haven't used it in a really long time. And there's a reason for that, which I learned and just reiterated, that it was the colors were too summery for me. And I felt like I wanted to use the deck, but I just felt like every time I used it, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like the right time of year. So I have been working with the Wild Unknown pocket version, just because I received it this month. It was there, it came in the mail, I didn't pack it away. So this is the one that's been sitting on my, I don't want to call it an altar, it's definitely not an altar, it's a kind of sort of cupboard shelf thing that used to sit on top of a desk, and someone took it off and put it on the curb for garbage, and my friend took it and then I took it from her. So all of my decks are in it, and it's just kind of sitting on the floor beside my bed, and I put a little cloth on top, and I've got my Seasons of the Witch deck on it and this deck on it. And what I learned this month, and you guys are probably going to roll your eyes at me, newbie, I was finding that I really wanted to pull cards for myself, not necessarily daily, but close to it. But I just wasn't like actually sitting down and pulling cards for myself. It wasn't happening. I wasn't in the mood. So I found if I leave these decks out of their boxes, just like sitting on this table, I'm more inclined to pull one in the mornings when I'm getting ready. It's right beside my closet. So when I'm getting ready in the morning, I see it and I'm like, oh, okay, shuffle for a couple of minutes, maybe not even, and pull a card. And so that's what I've been doing, is just using this little cupboardy, shelfy thing as a little table to hold my loose cards on, and I'm finding that I'm using them a lot more that way. All right, next, books I am reading. So one of the ones that, because this is the first time I've done this video, I'm going to mention it. It's the Moonology Agenda by Yasmin Boland. And I use this all the time when working with the moons. So it'll tell you the new moon and the time schedule for different time zones. And it actually gets really specific what this lunation means for you. So to discover where the energy of this new moon is for you, find your star sign or rising sign here, see which house is involved, and then read the new moon through the house guide, blah, blah, blah. And then it gives you new moon wishes and intentions. So this is the time to be bold and confident about your ability to consciously create the life of your dreams. Goes on to talk about, for another couple more sentences. Then it gives questions to ask at this new moon. Which one of the following statements applies to me? I am nicely confident, I'm overconfident, I'm underconfident. And then a few more questions and stuff to journal about. And then she also talks about, so this was in August, so it's not right now, but this week, a week that's good for romance, but it could also bring out someone's deceptive nature. So if you're entangled with someone who isn't on the level, beware. So it just kind of gives you little tips and tricks and planetary alignments that might cause conflict or whatever. So that's one of the things I work with regularly. The other book, I've had this for a very long time, and I am slightly ashamed to say I'm still not done it, but it's the Your Tarot Court by Ethany. This book, I feel like, am I totally out of frame here? This book has been helpful in learning the tarot court because I, after doing tarot for over a year now, struggle immensely with the court cards. They are my nemesis. So this book definitely does help. The problem is retaining the information because there's so much information for each card. But as you can see, I've tabbed some places that I can easily go to if I'm stumped and think, okay, this is where I want to go for this. So that book has been really helpful. And then just for funsies, I don't have a hard copy of this book, but I'm reading The Wicked King by Holly Black. It is, I think it's a trilogy. I think there's 3 in this series. So the first one is The Cruel Prince, which I read in like 2 days, loved it. So here's my Kobo version. The Wicked King, Holly Black. If you are into like the fairy kind of world, I was not prior to getting my hands on this book. I highly recommend. It is a lot of fun. I'm kind of worried about where it's going to go because I can see the disasters coming. But it's very entertaining and I really like it. It's a very easy read. It's very quick. So that's one of the ones I've been reading. All right, that's it for books. And now I just realized there's a couple things I wanted to mention, things I've been using this month. So this is by Ethany as well, the Modern Goddess Oracle. And I was part of her coven where you pay like a monthly fee and you are in her coven, and each month they choose a different goddess to work with and they do like meditations. It's very involved with the goddess. So I exited the Awakened Soul coven a couple months ago just because it was $20 a month. I'm trying to cut costs. That was really the only reason. I really enjoyed it. I liked the meditations, but just trying to cut costs. Maybe I'll be back one day. But what I did this month and last month was pull a card that I was drawn to. I went through the deck, I looked at each photo, and this month it was the Badass. So you can go through the guidebook, which I don't know if any of you know about Ethany's guidebooks, but they're chunky monkeys, and it'll tell you. Here's our guidebook here, full color. So it gives you the keywords, it gives you the symbols, the affirmations, meet the goddess. So it tells you what the goddess, divination meaning, working with the goddess, the shadow meaning, and healing with the goddess. So it gives you different things to do to work with them and to heal with them, which I really like. So for me, just kind of going through it at the beginning of each month and picking out a new one, which I'm just going to leave this out because I have to do one for December. I like that I'm choosing it myself based on what I'm feeling called to when I'm going through the deck and looking at it. So that's what the Badass. So obviously the Badass is not a goddess. So it's 49 goddesses and 16 empowering archetypes. So the Badass is part of the 16 empowering archetypes. The other thing I've been using this month is the Smudge Spray by Wicked Good. This one is sage and rosemary. Oh my gosh, this smells, I don't know how to describe it. It just smells fantastic. It smells so good. I mean, if no one told me it was sage and rosemary, I probably wouldn't pick it up. But because I know it's sage and rosemary, I can pick up that scent in it. But it is like, I don't know, there's a little bit of a perfumey scent to it, but not like overpowering. I I highly recommend. Everyone that I know that smelled this has loved it. I purchased this at a local metaphysical shop in my town, my city. So I don't know if Wicked Good has a website or not, or if you can buy them in the United States. I'm in Canada, so I'm not sure, but definitely recommend the rosemary, the sage and rosemary. Now, that being said, I have another company. What company is this one? Shaman's Dawn. And this one is sage spray as well. I don't mind this one. This one smells delicious. It smells good. But I like that one better. I like the green one better. So just so you know. The other thing, next category, is crystals I've been drawn to. So I did purchase one crystal this month. I'm in crystal jail at the moment. I'm trying not to buy crystals because I have a plethora of them. So what I've been kind of doing is going to my table where all my crystals are, which is just on top of my dresser. And I just kind of look around at one and see if one is calling to me. And then I bring it to the couch or to my bed, wherever I happen to be watching TV for that month, whatever it is. And this month is my Super 7. So this one kind of wasn't like I was drawn to it. Like I went to the table and was like, let me find my soup, or it kind of jumped out at me. It was nothing like that. It was just, I know I have this Super 7 and I wanted it. I wanted to sit with it for a while. I wanted to work with it. So it's been sitting with me, and I just almost kind of find it to be like it's just soothing. This one is very, very smooth. There's no rough spots on it. So when I'm watching TV or movies or whatever, I'm just kind of like holding it, hanging out with it. So that's the crystal I've been working with that was already in my collection. And then it was a friend of mine's birthday this month. So I went to the metaphysical shop the same day I bought that spray to buy her some crystals. And this piece of amethyst, this raw piece of amethyst, was just jumping out at me, and the angle that it was on, of course you're not going to see it now because of the lighting, but the rainbows were just screaming at me, and it was sitting in a container with a bunch of other ones, and I highly doubt you're going to be able to see them, but they are in there. And I was just like, I felt called to it. It was like $3 or something, so I was like, okay, I will buy that one. So those are the crystals. This has been sitting with my decks that I keep beside my closet there that I've been using. Now the big category. This category is going to be big just because this is my first time filming one of these videos. So I have to kind of go over everything, all of them. So this is my daily agenda that I use. It is, I don't even know what name brand it is because I got it off Amazon and it was like $13 or $14. This was my entry into the traveler's notebook world. So I've got some ollie clips in here, some really cool cactus paper clips, and I have one book for, I do private tarot videos with just my friends. So I have one book that controls that. I have another book where I have to, at the moment, hand write the calendar, like hand draw it. And I do a page where I talk about my gratitudes for that month, and then a page where I print off some photos, and then just kind of like scrap pages for making notes, which this is all like really personal stuff and stuff I can't show for like party planning and stuff. So we're not going to go there, but that's my basic agenda. That's the one I use every single day. And my tarot planning is in there. That's why I kind of brought it up. Now, this planner, this is a Chic Sparrow. One of the reasons why I purchased this color was because when I think of tarot, I don't know why I think of like indigo and purple, probably with the Third Eye Association colors. So that's why I bought this color, and also it was on sale. So Chic Sparrow is real genuine leather, so they're a little bit pricier. But in this book, this is going to be my replacement tarot book, this little black doohickey here. Now, we're not going to talk about this book because that's going to be in another video. And then I have this book here, which is my tarot notes, which is empty, as you just saw, because I have a fear of writing something down and then having like I spell the word wrong or something and I have to scribble it out. So I'm kind of like making a scrap note version first before I decide to put it in. I think what I've decided I'm going to do is have one page dedicated to each tarot card in the deck. And what I've noticed is, you know, you'll watch unboxings or you'll read books or read the pamphlets or the books that come with tarot decks. And every once in a while you come across a sentence for a card that just is like, oh, and it really resonates with me. And I'm like, I really like that interpretation. I really like that meaning for that card. So I've decided I want to keep these pages, and every time I come across that, write those sentences down. So have one page for each card, and just kind of, I keep this close by. It stays by my bed. And so when I get strong enough to decide to actually put it in ink on that booklet, to actually do that and work with it that way. So that's what that book is for. You're going to probably see it grow depending on how I stick with this series. Now, the one book I didn't show you was because this is my tarot book that I use to keep track of my tarot card pulls I do for myself. I don't really keep track of my daily ones, but if I'm doing a new moon or a full moon spread, which I get from Ethany, you can find a link perhaps on her Instagram. They're free. She has spreads every new moon and every full moon. Maybe every Sabbath. I can't quite remember, but so I put those in here, or anytime I want to do any kind of other spread, that's what I keep track of in here. This one is coming to an end. We're almost at the end of it here. So the other book to replace it is in there, which I'll discuss when I get to it. But this is it's a leather thing, a leather notebook cover that I got from Chapters Indigo. And the book came in it, so I don't know what size it is. I'm guessing it's a 5x7. So I could replace it if I wanted, but I don't think I want to. Like, I just think that this cover is the relationship that I've had with these tarot readings, and that's how it should stay. Maybe I'll change my mind one day, because this would be sad to just like put it away in a cupboard and whatever, not really reference it, but I don't know. We'll see. So that's my current tarot documenting book. It stays right here. And the other book I have, now I've been very, very bad. I try and keep a new moon and full moon kind of like manifestation, intention, and goal list. So I use a happy planner for this because you can pull the pages out. Dawn Michelle uses this as well. You can pull the pages out and reposition them. You can put them wherever you want. So that's kind of what I should have for my tarot book. But I just wanted a smaller one. I didn't want one that was this size for my tarot stuff. So for example, I'm just going to show you. So it comes with, this one came with tabs. My first tab section is like information about the moon, what the waxing crescent moon means, etc. You know, what you can do in the moon phases to manifest. So I'll show you an old one. This is June 2020. So just to kind of give you an idea, I'm not going to stay on it too long there because there probably is some personal stuff. No, there isn't. So we're okay. But that's kind of what I do with this book. And I do need to get back into it because I have definitely let things slip in that department, and I definitely want to get back into it. So that's what I'll be doing. Probably come the new year, really focusing on this book. Maybe start with the December new moon, because December's is already gone too. It was like the 3rd or something. So anyway, that's that. But then the other cute thing that I found on Amazon were these stamp sets. You have to get like the clear pad to go, or not pad, but the clear acrylic square piece that you stick these to make them a stamp. So this was on Amazon. It was really cheap. And I love it for the moon journal. And even I can use some of it for my tarot journal as well. Like one of the ideas I had for my tarot journal was incorporating the astrology meanings and the astrology connections with the tarot cards. So I can do that as well. So yeah, that's that. And I believe that's it. Here we are. I have no idea how long we've been doing this for. Oh, we're over half an hour, so I am a little bit longer than I wanted to be. But I just wanted to share all my things and do like I said, a November roundup and musings and the decks that I purchased and things I'm working with and the journals that I've been using. And again, the journals are they're a bit newer, except for this one. This one gets used every day, but just because this is the first time I've done this video, so hopefully they will grow and I'll be able to show you how they evolve over time, assuming I stick to this. Maybe it'll get 5 views and I'll be like, well, I'm not doing that again. But you never know. So that's November. The end of December's video will probably be posted sometime in January, just because, as we know, the end of December, beginning of January is a little bit hectic. Things are already starting to get hectic as far as gatherings and stuff like that. So enjoy your December, and I'll see you sometime in early January, if not, if someone doesn't come up with a VR that I feel like doing in the meantime. So have a good holiday season.